the Sydney extension pack with the original bodice from the Sydney dress with the new skirt from the extension pack. So I've got all of my pattern pieces cut out here. I've got my neck facings fused. So let's get ready to sew. To start off, with right sides facing, place the front and back bodice pieces together and pin along the shoulder seams. Then we're going to go ahead and sew along the shoulder seams. Now that we've sewn the shoulder seams on the sewing machine, we can take our bodice to the overlocker or serger and overlock along those shoulder seams. Take your front and back neck facing pieces and place them with right sides together. Now you can pin the shoulder seams in place and sew along the shoulder seams on your sewing machine. Once you've done this, press the seams open. Once you've sewn the shoulder seams of your neck facing, you can take your facing to your overlocker or serger and overlock all the way around the outer edge of the facing. Now with right sides together, pin the neck facing to the neckline of the bodice. Make sure that you match the shoulder seams of both the neck facing and the bodice together. Sew the neck facing to the neckline of the bodice using a 6mm or 1/4 inch seam allowance. This is to reduce bulk in this area. From the right side, understitch close to the seam on the side of the facing. Understitching helps keep the facing from rolling out to the front of your garment. Fold the facing to the inside of the body and give it a good press. Now pin it in place to the body so that it sits flat. Then you're going to top stitch around the outer edges of the neck facing. I like to use the overlocking as a guide to get nice even top stitching. With right sides facing, pin the front and back side seams together from the waist to the sleeve opening. Once in place, you can go ahead and sew the seams together. Once you've sewn the side seams, clip into the curved section at the underarm. This is to release the fabric so that it can move a bit more freely. Now you can neaten the bodice side seams with an overlocker or serger and then press them towards the back. With right sides facing, sew one set of the pockets to the center front panel. You only need to sew between the notches. Clip at the notches and then flip the pocket piece out to the right side and understitch between the notches close to the seam on the side of the pocket bag. Fold the pocket bag to the inside and press, and push the little notches out so that you've created a step in the side seam for the pocket. With right sides facing, sew the second set of pockets to the pocket bags that are already sewn to the center front panel, and stitch the pocket bags together around the curved outside edges to create a pocket. Neaten the outer curved edges of the pockets with an overlocker or serger. With right sides facing, sew the center front panel, pattern piece 6, to the side front panel, pattern piece 5, matching the notches. And also make sure that you have these pattern pieces up the right way, so the hem is at the bottom and the attached bodice marking is at the top. This sounds obvious, but it's really easy to get these pieces around the wrong way. Also, be careful not to catch the front pocket opening as you sew these seams. Neaten these seams with an overlocker or serger and press towards the front. With right sides facing, sew the center back panel, pattern piece 3, to the side back panel, pattern piece 4. Again, make sure you have these pieces up the right way, so the hem is at the bottom and the attached bodice marking is at the top. Neaten these seams with an overlocker or serger and press towards the centre back. With right sides facing, sew the front and back side seams together, matching the notches. Neaten the side seams with an overlocker or serger and press towards the back. Fold the front and back hembands in half lengthways with wrong sides facing and press. I also like to mark the back hemband with the back marking to make it easier to sew to the skirt. Open the hembands back out flat and with right sides facing, sew the two short angled ends of the front and back hembands together. You're going to be using this pre-pressed fold line as a guide when you get to the middle of the hemband to pivot. Sew from the raw edges to the middle point, marked with the pre-pressed fold line. Once you get to this fold line, with the needle down, pivot the fabric to match the angled seam and sew through to the other side. Now you can see what this angled seam does. It makes a diagonal line so that it follows the curve of the cocoon shape of the dress and allows the hemband to have a slight curve. Press your hemband in half lengthways with wrong sides facing along your pre-pressed fold line. Stay stitch the raw edges of the hemband together to hold in place. Sew the raw edges of the hemband to the right side of the skirt hem, matching the notches to the seams of the skirt, and making sure that the back hemband matches to the back skirt and the front hemband to the front skirt. Neaten this seam with an overlocker or serger and press upwards. With right sides facing, sew the bodice to the skirt, matching the seams and notches. Neaten with an overlocker or serger and press downwards. Neaten the sleeve hem openings with an overlocker or serger. Fold the wide hem of the sleeve to the inside at the fold under for hem marking on the pattern and press. Then you can top stitch. Again, I like to use the overlocking as a guide to get nice neat top stitching. To create the cuff, fold the cuff to the outside at the fold line for cuff marking on the pattern and press. Sew a small hand stitch at the underarm seam to keep the cuff in place. You can go ahead and press your fabulous new dress, and I hope you enjoyed sewing it.